And of course, the town hall, an opportunity for voters to pose their questions directly. And Keith Brin was there last night. Keith, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm eager to know, what did you think of the town hall? Did it change your impression of Ramaswamy in any way?
I thought the town hall was great. How many times now do you get to see and hear an unfiltered candidate just talk to people and answer questions? And Leland, in fact, gave a little pushback on some things, which was great. It was really without a filter. And I think more people would like to hear this kind of thing. Did it change my mind about him? I learned a lot about him. I'm not committed to any one particular candidate, but I have to say he's unquestionably bright. He's a really good debater. He's quick on his feet. He's got some really compelling ideas. And I think I'm, if anything, more inclined to take a second look at him now than I ever was before.
Interesting. I mean, were there any responses in particular that resonated with you?
I think he's got a little bit of a healthy libertarian streak in him, which from my perspective is good. I don't think the government, from my perspective, is very good at doing a lot of things. And the more things it tries to do, it tends to do them very poorly. He seems to be sort of devolving that and sending it back to the states in the federalist model, which I've always thought is probably the better way to go about it. So a few of the things that he said really resonated with me.
That's good. So that's the good for you. On the other side, were there any moments that surprised you or maybe gave you pause?
Well, in particular, I had a question about abortion that I'm very curious about, and how Republicans in general are faring with the abortion question post Dobbs. And I don't know that he necessarily has a great answer, as most Republicans really don't, on how to message this in a way that resonates with people. But I did think that his answer that surprised me the most was the three-letter agencies that he'd like to get rid of, in specific the FBI. And I'm curious, he didn't really go into that and how and why he would want to get rid of the FBI and who would then take on that role.
Mr. Ramaswamy also spent some time directly addressing faith and his own personal beliefs. What did you think of his responses there?
I thought it was great. I really do. Look, a moral fiber of just about any religion I think is a good thing. It's not a downside. And those compatible with Judeo-Christian values in the West are great. He seems to be very anchored in his religion in a very positive way and a non-exclusive way. And I see that only as a positive.
Yeah, and it seems like you think that overall the town hall was a positive, just in terms of being able to directly hear, not in short snippets and sound bites and filtered through an entire team, but just at length someone's beliefs. Any other candidates you would really want to hear from in a town hall sort of format?
All of them. I mean, look, they each evolving, have their own issues evolving. How Pence is working through having been Trump's vice president, how Nikki Haley, as I believe the UN ambassador, is sort of separating herself out from that whole thing, how DeSantis really is operating. We hear a lot of things filtered through the media, and I don't know that we get to hear directly from the candidates. I want to hear from Tim Scott, who doesn't have a tremendous amount of support, but I've heard him speak, and when I heard him speak, I thought he was great, but I'd love to hear him in this town hall format, just one-on-one interview, especially with someone like Leland, who really took him to task on a couple of things, and I thought was very, very compelling and very interesting.
Yeah. All right, Keith Brin, appreciate your time both last night and today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.